Morning everybody, here we are back at the barn, and I've got quite a busy few days. Christmas is coming up and there's a lot of things I want to try and get completed. Unfortunately, I'm waiting on spares and bits and bobs like that, so I'm going to be picking in, you know, little bits of all sorts of jobs, I think, which at least keeps it varied. So, reason I'm excited is we've got some stuff on the bench. So I'm going to rearrange it a little bit and then we can have a look and see what we've got. So first thing, this cardboard box. This is something I've decided to put on the trailer. I don't know if they're going to be strong enough or do the job properly, but I'm going to give it a go. Because one of the problems is that the trailer's great, very stable until we disconnect it from the towing vehicle. So what I have here is two drop down legs, and the idea is you put each back corner a drop down leg, so that obviously you've got axle in the middle, wheels. On the front you've got the jockey wheel, and then at the back you can put these, drop them down, anchor them solid. So two concerns with these. Number one is to make sure that they don't accidentally drop down when they're towing. Number two, to make sure that if somebody stands on the back of the trailer when there's no car connected, it doesn't flip up. So these things need to anchor tight. But, you know, people have used them for years. I think they're the right thing for the job. So that's the task. And what we will probably do is weld these on. Don't know. Drop through the clamp like so, and allow us quite a good length. I did buy some extra long ones, so I think they're going to be good. So that's that. What else have we got? So as you can see, we've got quite a lot on the bench. So jobs for this week and next week, because I can't think of a better place to spend Christmas, or some of it. I'll be down here. So what have we got? We've got the carbs, we've got the front brake system, we've got the trailer legs, we've got the PG9 glands, PG11 glands to fit. We will be hand making some of our own gaskets. By the way, if any of you wonder what that is, that's just my battery charger telling me in a very excited manner it's charged to battery. Got to give these things praise in this woke society. Good one, mate. Right, so what else have we got? As I think I've told you before, last week probably, the Honda CB500T 1975 to 1976 had a real problem with the hardness of the rockers, or the cam followers should I say, and the camshaft. So what would happen is they would wear excessively. I know these are a bit rusty. You can't really see that, but that should be twice as thick. And there's a blooming great wear mark right in the middle of it. I'll clean those up and show you at some point. They destroyed them. Luckily, when I look at mine, everything is nice and shiny and serviceable. Also, it's had really good oil flow up there, which is a big bonus. I've got no fears about the oil pump. But it did rattle a lot. So what we're going to do is we're going to check all of the mechanical timing and the setup of the torsion bars. So normally what you have on a cam follower rocker, cam's pressing down on the top bit. That little pad there presses down on the valve. And what you'd normally have is some spring affair to push that back up and shut the valve. Okay. With these, there is a torsion bar that goes through this tube. I think there's still a spring to shut the valve, but the rockers are more about torsion bar. So they need to be set up properly. There is a procedure. So we set the gap, we make sure the torsion bars are right, we check the mechanical timing. We'll then, once we know we've got it mechanically timed, we can bring the whole thing into electrical time, which I'm pretty sure is close enough. Set the points, do the timing. I've got a strobe lamp for any of you old school guys who remember things like strobe lamps. So I haven't used it in about 20 years. I don't even know if I'll know how to use it, but we'll give it a go. So we'll get that running. And as I said, get that bike into tune. Hopefully we'll get the carbs rebuilt, get them on, and we should be able to fire it up and ride it. There is absolutely no reason why we shouldn't be able to. That bike's fit enough to do it now. And because of that, unless I find something major, I'm going to put a bit more cash into the renovation. We've got a few things like second-hand panel I bought, one of the originals where somebody's painted it, you know, try and get a decent panel. So yeah, we've really got a lot to do. So anyway, I've said a lot. I think it's time we crack on after I've had my cuppa. Spot on. Right, so our first job is going to be the drop leg. So I'm going to have the handle forward. Behind this plate is a very thick piece of angle iron. It's the main chassis, or part of the main chassis for the trailer. So I'm going to bolt through that. What I'm going to do is just mark that up. We're going to start off with a sharp 6.5mm drill. God, making my arms ache, that is. Yeah, that should be good. I've got to ask myself how thick this metal is. It looks like I'm nearly through. Just reposition myself a bit so I can get a little bit more. So now we're going to hit it with a 13mm drill. Right, so now we can fit, hopefully, the reason it's all a bit odd is because I've got two small axle stands under the bag, so I'm going to let the front down, level up the trailer, and then we can put the drop leg in. Probably about right. So I think it's pretty close to being level, certainly level enough, just to prove the point that the drop legs should do their job very nicely. That's that. Right, should we go to the other side? So something I'm a little bit curious about is I want to have a look at these old cam follower rockers that were part and parcel of the parts I got with the Honda. So what I'm going to do is, this is a rusty, crusty old bit of gear. I'm going to hit it with the 8-inch wire brush. Now, I'm wearing thick, heavy gloves. This thing's spinning around, strip your skin off. You can't mess with it. This is a particularly tricky, small part to hold, especially with big gloves on. So you have to be quite cautious, and if it rips it out of my hand, yeah, that happens. So let's give it a go, see how we get on. Okay, so this is really interesting to me. You can see that the wire brush has not really made shiny work of the main body of this, and that's just because it's rusty iron. But this surface would have been plated, and as you can see, it's still very shiny, and this is why I didn't want to shot blast it, because it would have hidden all of this. So what this tells me is actually the plating on this was very good. You know, it has got some wear in it. I can see a dip. You might not be able to see that so easy, but it hasn't absolutely killed it. And the same for the end that would have sat on the valve, slightly shiny. I'm actually quite pleased with that, but I want to see what the other one's like. Let's get the other one. So let's just take a closer look at those on the bench. So you can see the rust and the pitting and the wear quite clearly. Let's have a look at the other one. I can get it to focus a little bit better. You can see those two bluer lines at the top of that polished pad and another one quite near the bottom. That's just wear. That's where things have actually physically worn down the chrome. So that one probably wasn't too far off going. In fact, I can see sort of around this area, there's some little brown marks, and that's possibly where corrosion started. Yeah. So, you know, that engine, that could be my engine, but that engine was starting to show definite signs of wear. Right, so one of the jobs I really do need to do is get this petcock off. It stinks, this tank stinks, and it's crusty inside. So get the petcock off, that's going to need a clean out. And then we can chuck some nuts and bolts in there and shake it up and see if we can clear this tank. I see a lot of you American guys using all sorts of chemicals. I'm going to give that a go as well. So, what am I thinking? Big spanner. See if that's 22. Oh, way bigger. $24. I'm guessing I need to go that way. Okay, maybe not. Oh man, I don't know if you can see inside there, but it's thick and black and looks like somebody's put some kind of a rubber compound in there. We shall have a look in the book in a minute and just see how this lot went together. Right, I've got like a nylon-y thing in here. I'll very carefully try and pull that out. Last thing I want to do is be buying a new petcock. Really, it's one of the original features I'd like to keep. I'm sure this will be the filter assembly. Very, very sort of fragile nylon. Slowly, slowly, catchy monkey. Ah, there we have it. Fortunately, the screen is split because it's just like really fragile and it's been petrol soaked, and I'm sure we can find something that would replace that. But this is out of the petrol tank. Look at it, it's black. What makes it black? I suppose it must be just rust. Let's give you some idea of whole thing is full of black. I'll tell you what I think this is. I think this might be the nylon. Maybe they've used some sealer. Anyway, doesn't matter. We're going to strip it down and we're going to clean it up. God, gee. There's also something pretty big and heavy in there. Well, that could have been the cat banging about. Oh. I shall readjust you in a second. So we've got a couple of screws in the top here. I'll need to get access to. I'm sure you're sick of hearing me say these are not Phillips. These are not Posi Drive, they are JIS headed screws, which is Japan's own version, their own standard. What I'm doing now is I'm just trying to clear out as much debris of these screw heads as I can, so that hopefully I get the screw out and not destroy it. That one's gone. That one's gone. Oh, look at that. It is gooey. Have a spring. I can't feel anything else in there apart from crap. What I've got to try and do now is get this fairly, that was easy, brittle part out. Well, I think that's it. What I can do is try and take off this old hose clip. Sorry guys, let me reposition you again. I'm sure you have just missed everything. Oh no, maybe not. All the fun and excitement of what we're doing. It's a little seal, petcock lever, petcock place, that's the actual petcock itself, spring, and we're just getting this off. So what I've got at home, I haven't got them here unfortunately, is some brass and stainless steel brushes. We'll just give this a good old run over with them. That'll bring it up like new. But we need to sort out things that should spin, I think. Yep, it should. It's just full of crud. So I'm guessing that this is either a rubber seal that's just perished beyond all control. Okay, I think I know what this is. So, back in 1976, certainly in this country, we were still running 4-star leaded fuel. And what I think that is And what's made all this so black and gooey is at some time it's had unleaded or methanol based fuel in it, ethanol based fuel, sorry. And what I'm picking out here seems to be either a rubber sealer, or it could have been a gasket. I'll have a look at the book in a minute. That's been attacked by fuel. It is everywhere. I think what we need to do is maybe just try and get this washed out in the parts cleaner and see how that leaves it. But before we do that, see if there's a good picture of the Petcock. Petrol tap 49. Well, the simple answer to that is there isn't a picture of it, but there might be in the Honda manual, which is on the computer, which isn't turned on. Okay, well, let's get a little try. Let's take you to the parts washer. So we still need to do a little bit of work with the brass wire brush to clean things like this up. And there's still some work to get all that black stuff out. But basically, this is cleaned up really, really well. This is our plastic valve, you know, and okay, yeah, it's yellow and probably needs a bit more of a clean out inside, but it, you know, all this is cleaned up. And this makes me think we're going down the right sort of avenue. So this is our tube, the longer one being reserve, the shorter one being other way around, the longer one being fully open, the shorter one being reserve. This had the nylon sort of sock over it, which has not fared too well. So we need to try and find something to replace that. We've also got some rubber seals. I'll have a look on the Dave Silver website and see, you know, what the Honda book says and if we can get any of this stuff. But I think we're in a good place. So that's the Petcock underway. Okay guys, so I just wanted to show you this. And it might be a very quick video because I've only got one of these little brushes. And I just want to make sure, let's widen that up a bit. No, that should be fine. I just want to make sure that I can get a bit of footage in before it disintegrates, because they do that. So here's our Petcock body. And as you can see, it's covered in corrosion. Not harmful really. I could put this back to use as is, maybe clean that heavier stuff off. But this is one of the things I really like about these little multi-tools. So with very little effort, one of the things you don't want to happen. Yep, still looking good. Now, because this is brass, and especially after you've wrapped it up in a towel, you can see how the head has just literally fallen apart. But you can also see what a nice finish it's starting to put on there. Now, for some of these tighter corners, I've got some end brushes and everything. I've got a big kit of brushes at home, which I'll bring in for tomorrow. I want to start to get bits like this cleaned up, reassembled. I can also get down into there and just clean all that debris out and make this functional again. That's really it. For now, I'm going to reassemble the Petcock without that nylon filter, because what I fully intend to do is put a filter in line with each of the fuel pipes. But just thought you'd like to see that.